Look, I'm not a lawyer and I'm definitely not your lawyer. So be aware of the amount of damage you could do and the potential trouble you could get into if you ever use this on somebody. If you don't know me already, I'm Shunshu and this is Mr. Dorland, one of my superheroes in training. We're gonna work on chops, and I'm gonna teach you how to do a chop so powerfully, it'll be like cutting through butter with a samurai sword. So it's really important to learn how to aim your weapons. So in aiming your weapons, there's a simple trick here. So if, for example, I wanted to hit him in the solar plexus, I'm not gonna like look at his solar plexus. My eyes would give it away and it's really slow. Instead, I just hit him in the solar plexus. But how do I aim that? Well, it's simple. I aim off of my own body here. So I bring it up to my solar plexus and straight out, and that's gonna give a pretty good approximation of where his is, and your brain will typically make like the finer adjustment. So bring it up to your own weapon, to your own target, wherever that target is on your body, and then straight out. So if I wanted to hit him, say, in the neck here, he was for some reason standing inside, I don't know why, but I wanted to hit him in the neck there, I would bring it to my own, and then here, or even if I was facing him here, instead of like looking there, I would bring it up to my own target and then straight out here. So a way to remember this is I think about like wiping drool from your face, okay? So if you were to bring this up and then bring it out and think about wiping drool off of your chin, bring it out and then flicking the drool, okay? So bring it up, wipe the drool, and then flick the drool. That's gonna get your weapons right on target. So bring your hand up, wipe the drool off your chin, and then flick it out, okay? So that brings another point. If you're thinking about bringing it up, wiping the drool off your chin, then you don't wanna flick it until the very end, okay? So bring it up, out, flick. Another thing you wanna think about is keeping this level. So imagine like you bring it up and you're holding a pizza, okay? So what that does is it's going to create tension in your arm and then that snaps over at the very end, okay? So bring it up, hold the pizza, serve the pizza, and then flick it over. Or as you will, bring it up, wipe the drool, flick the drool. We can also think about the snap of the weapon. You have a couple things going here to create snap. You have the turning over of the hand and you have the flexion of the wrist here, okay? So that snap of the wrist flexing this way creates snap, the hand turning over creates snap. And then we want to create the hardness of the hand. So we get our hands, fingers together, fingers slightly bent, and then the thumb, here's the secret to make your hand super hard, is as it hits, the thumb squeezes in behind, okay? So right on impact here, we squeeze the thumb in to make that super hard, okay? Like most weapons, we will use a floating foot in this. So as it hits, our foot moves. That gives us our body weight moving into it. Okay, so let's talk about reinforcement. What reinforcement does is brings the energy from the ground to your opponent. Now, that may seem magical and mystical, but what it really means is you're just aligned into the ground like a 2x4 going into the ground. That makes sure that your power is all going forward into your opponent. We get through reinforcement through our stance. So if you'll go back into your stance here, now imagine you've done a chop in that direction. So just put out your chop in. So if Mr. Dorland has chopped in this direction, what you want is this point will align through the chest into the heel of the ground on the back. So if you can imagine like a plane cutting through the body here, okay, that plane touches here on the point of impact on the chop, the chest, the hip pointer here, the back of the hip here, and what's very important is the heel of the ground in the back. So that becomes very strong. We're just actually going to give them just a little tiny bit of an adjustment here, and reinforce this as level here. Now I'm going to push. Now notice how strong that gets. That's reinforced right into the ground, and it doesn't give. So if you hit somebody with that type of reinforcement, with the snap and all that, then you have a lot of power, and that power all goes into your opponent, okay? All right, thank you, Mr. Dorland. Okay, just a few applications of the chop. You can think of the chop, it's good off of other weapons, could be used offensively if you needed to, if somebody was like really in your space here. And if this was a really dangerous situation, you were really afraid for your life, then bring this up right in here, okay? Now that is gonna show on his chest here. That's just a flick here, okay? But notice that I'm snapping my hip in, and back on that one, okay? So normally you'd be practicing for the purposes of practicing, you'd be driving to a nice horse stance on this, okay? But when you put it in application, you'll shorten that up and just get like a turn, okay? So turn here, okay? And I would wanna actually float my foot with that, turn, okay? And that might give you some other weapons. So you could go, well, if you'd taken it to the target here, you're probably not gonna need any of the weapons, but let's just say, so if I've gone turn here, I could be using some other weapons off of that turn of the body here. So I could go turn here, progressive weapons here, chop, you know, whatever with that. So an offensive take on it. For defensive, you can step back just a little bit. So he's out of my space, but he comes in here. He comes in with, say coming in with a punch, he comes with a hooking punch. Then you can go block chop, and you've got it you've got it rebounding right off of that weapon in here. So we'll do that one more time. We've got block chop in there, something like that. Okay, great. So if you're just starting out martial arts, or you're looking to take your martial arts up to the next level, you're in the right place. I'm here to help you do that. Previously, martial arts, the real good stuff, has always been kept pretty secret, but we believe that it's time to get these secrets out and help people that really want to learn. So if that's you, if you're the person that really wants to learn, then you're in the right place. So Mr. Dorland, what do we want the Shoshu community to do now?
Hit that subscribe and smash that like.
Great.